And so we should give them a call and see what opportunity we might have to use their facilities. And I'm glad we did. So we are very thankful that we've been able to come here to Tennessee State University, use the Performing Arts Building, this Cox Lewis Theater. And the gentleman that we can thank for that is Dr. Robert Elliott right here. He is the professor, he's a professor of music and the chair of the Tennessee State University Department. So I'm going to hand the microphone over to Dr. Elliott for a few moments and allow him to speak to you on behalf of TSU. Dr. Elliott?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening. I'm Dr. Robert Elliott, as you heard, chair of the music department here at Tennessee State University. On behalf of President Glover, Provost Harris, Dean Morgan Curtis, all of the faculty, staff, and students at Tennessee State University, welcome. We're glad you're here at the event. You know, I heard Mr. Pierce talk just a few moments ago, and then I also heard Ms. Edgington speak about this being the first time to have a live concert, a live audience in 2 years, right? We went through that in the School of Music at Tennessee State University too. When the world closed down in March of 2020, we all know when that happened, right? And school moved all to online. Well, here at Tennessee State, we spent a year online also. And if you can imagine trying to hold orchestra rehearsals, marching band rehearsals, and everything else online, it was just a challenge. As a music teacher myself, I teach the basses, and Zoom is great conferencing software. And my grandchildren were taking their classes through Zoom. Yeah, we all learned Zoom. Don't you wish you had purchased some stock in Zoom in 2019? But it's not good for music, as we all learned. With the bass players, well, Zoom cuts out all those noises that are above and below speaking range, and I could see their fingers move, and I couldn't hear a single thing they played. And we've all got stories like that. But we're so glad to be back to live concerts. For us, this was the first time in 2 years we came back to this stage this fall. And we held all of our concerts back on this stage. We were glad to be here. I know how you're feeling right now. It's a celebration to be making music live, listening to music live and in person. You know, when I was contacted by the board about having the Tennessee Youth Symphony come to Tennessee State, my first reaction was, yeah, let's do this. And they told me the date, and I said, yeah, let's do this. And I contacted events management, and I spoke with the folks over there, and they said, Doc, don't you know that the university is closed on that date? I said, yeah. They said, we don't have any staff to support it. I said, that's okay. That's okay. Just give us the clearance, and we'll support it. So I need you to help me to thank some folks who gave up their time to come out and make this happen. I'm going to call a few names here. Professor Mark Colino, who's the technical director for this facility that we're in, Cox Lewis Theater. He gave up his Sunday. He's up there in the booth handling the lighting and making all of this stuff work. He came and made this happen. Dr. Jeffrey Tackett, who's our music technology person, came out, made the sound happen, also made the sound and connected the streaming with your person to make all of this happen for those. It's got to be more than 13 by now, right, Raj? And also, when I talked about having this happen, I mentioned this to our orchestra director, Professor Jessica Lee, and she says, I want to be there. All of these people are finished. You see, we finished our exams on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and we've been out of school since then. Yeah, it's a long time. We didn't want to come back and have a super spreader event after sending everybody home for Thanksgiving. So all of my folks are gone. I've got no staff, And then we talked about how we're going to set this up. And I really need to call out some students here. There are two student organizations that are at almost every university in our country. Sigma Alpha Iota, it's a women's fraternity in music, and Phi Mu Alpha Symphonia, the men's fraternity in music. I'm seeing a few heads nod, and these are the two organizations that support music, and our students in Sigma Alpha Iota, Phi Mu Alpha Symphonia, I'm seeing some of them over here in the wings. I need you to give a big shout out to them. They set up everything. So I'm seeing the orchestra coming on stage. We're glad that you're here. We're glad that they're here. We're just glad to be making music together in an almost normal way. Thank you and welcome again to Tennessee State.
Okay, so we're going to continue to come in, and I'm going to continue to chat with you all. As Dr. Elliott said, and Mrs. Edgington said, you'll probably hear from Mrs. Miller. You know, we're very excited to be here. We're very thankful to be here. And part of that is how our organization is structured. We are an independent organization, so not affiliated with any university or any large organizations here within Nashville, which means that we're able to be a bit nimble, to be flexible, to be able to zig and zag as the conditions warrant. And that's what's allowed us to be able to continue on in the manners that Mrs. Edgington mentioned. So when we, the last time that we had our last in-live concert was our winter performance in 2019. But in March of 2020, we had Spotlight on the Stage at the W.O. Smith School. And for those of you who might have been with us that time, that was the first time that we kicked off that event to highlight our jazz and rock ensemble. We had a great time, and then right after that, everything shut down. So we had a fantastic run up to not doing anything else. Then we were able to pull together with a lot of help from one of our parent volunteers at the time, pull together what we called a little virtual concert. So just shy of 3 minutes for all the YS kids to participate in. And that still is on our YouTube channel. And that I watched it 2 days ago, and I think it's still a fantastic piece. So I encourage you all to go out and take a look at it. And then we're able to come back, pivot, and go to fully virtual, then step into a hybrid model, then step this year into full in-person, finished last year with, the student musicians being in person, but then streaming it afterwards, doing a webcast. So we've come bit by bit to get to this place, and we're very happy to be able to do that. A lot of flexibility on the part of the students, on our conductors, and on our board members, and of course on the parents, because we can't do it without the families that we have here. So with that, I do have to note, though, that we are still well below, in terms of student populations, where we normally are. So right now, we're anywhere from 60 to 65% below our traditional student populations. And we get it. Times have been difficult for folks. Schedules, we've gotten used perhaps to having very clear schedules. And it's going to take us time to get back into a rhythm of getting out and doing things again. We understand that, but we would love to be able to have more students with us on stage. So we ask that you guys help spread that word. A couple of weeks ago, we had because word of mouth is our best way of getting it out there. So a couple of weeks ago, we had a Bring a Friend event. And I want to say off the top of my head, we had 12 people who came, and hopefully we'll be able to see them at the beginning of next semester. And we're going to reach out to them. We're going to send them this YouTube link and let them know that we're still out there doing things. When you get home, because we're streaming this, by the time everybody gets home, this event should be on our YouTube channel. And so I encourage you to go to our website, tnys.org. If you look in the upper right-hand corner of your program, you've got the link there. You've also got a QR code to take you to our website. So I encourage you to go there. Once you go there, you can see the YouTube icon in the upper right-hand corner of the page. Click that, and that'll take you to our YouTube channel. From there, you can see the past performances we've had, and you should be able to see tonight's once it's done uploading. So please, word of mouth is our best way of getting it out there, because you guys tell the story of TYS, and student musicians on stage tell that story too. Hopefully, it's a very positive story. Our goal is to not only provide musical education, but to do so in a nurturing way that the kids enjoy and that they enjoy being a part of and want their friends to come to and join with them. If it's not playing out that way, then please let us know. hello@TNYS, or email to me, or talk to one of the conductors or any of the board members. We want to know what we can do better so that we can provide a better product and a better experience for everybody out here. Two pieces of dry business that I've got to get through here that are critical to our continued success. One is funding and the other is board activity. We've got several different sources of funding. Tuition is the largest part of it, but it doesn't cover nearly everything, particularly when we are down 35 to 40% of our student populations, right? So we, of course, appreciate your participation in this, and we partner with the Nashville Symphony through their Accelerando program to invite the students who receive funding that way to participate with us. And we also give each year scholarships for participation in TYS. Last year, I believe we gave close to, or 2 years prior, I gave close to $2,500 in scholarships so that kids can be part of this organization. And our goal is to continue that kind of effort. So tuition is one part. Grants is another part. We've got some fantastic organizations that support the arts within Nashville and Middle Tennessee. They are the Metro Arts Commission, the Tennessee Arts Commission, with funding from the National Endowment of the Arts, and the Community Foundation for Middle Tennessee. And without them, quite honestly, I'm not certain that we would have been able to have last year. And this certainly provide us significant support for this year as well. So at all of our events, we talk about these folks being out there providing us support. We hang out the license plate promo. You can get a license plate through Tennessee Arts Commission, and some of those funds will go towards grants. But that's not enough. We've got to go a step further, and we've got to ask your support and advocacy for the arts. So ways you can do that individually are through those license plates, but other ways you can do that is, again, word of mouth to people that you know. Tell them how important the arts are and how important those arts organizations are. Additionally, please reach out to your representatives and let them know that your family is benefiting from those arts organizations and the grants that the funding that they provide. And that's anyone from your council member locally to the mayor's office to your state representatives in the legislature to our federal representatives in the House and in the Senate. Reach out to them and let them know that your organization and your family is benefiting from that. That's where we get into real advocacy for the arts, and that's how programs like this can continue to move forward. Another source of funding for us, of course, is individual donations, and our doors are always open for individual donations. You can go to our website. you can share our website with others, and they can go to the donations page, and they can make a donation online, or you can send in a check to Tennessee Youth Symphony. Lots of different ways to do that. So we often, or I've spent time with you on stage talking about that direct donation methodology. And in the past, you guys have given with gangbusters, and I really appreciate that. I do want to highlight another method that we don't talk about that much. It's in honorarium of someone, or even in memoriam of someone. When my wife and I were married years ago, we had an association with Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. And we got married later in life, so we didn't need toasters and lots of other things. So in lieu of those things, we asked for our wedding guests to make donations to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. And in doing so, it raised, I believe, close to $3,000 for them. And so those are in the happy times. You can think of something like that. In the less than happy times, I will share with you that my father passed away a couple of months ago. And our family is in a well enough position that, and my mother had the presence of mind to say to folks, rather than expressing your sympathies in terms of flowers and the like, please pay it forward in her case, her husband's, my father's honor, and reach out and donate to nonprofit organizations. It just so happens that I happen to help lead one, and my sister happens to help lead one in social work. And so people heard that call, and I won't put Nita on the spot for the numbers, but several $100s were donated to Tennessee Youth Symphony in my father's name. So hopefully, I hope that that's not a method that any of you will have to think about in the near future, but I put it out there for both the good and the bad times as a way of paying it forward to others so that they might have an opportunity to benefit from nonprofits and what they can do. The last thing that I will share with you on the funding side is a passive way to give. The first three were active. This one's passive. As you're out and about doing your shopping, you can sign up through Amazon Smile to donate some portion of whatever you spend at Amazon to come to Tennessee Youth Symphony. And so you would simply need to go smiles.amazon.com and do a search for your nonprofit organization, find Tennessee Youth Symphony there, and connect. In that way, over this past year, I did not check the number before I came up, but we were at $800 just a few months ago. So that's a way that that money can flow to TYS in a passive way while you're out and about doing your things. Other programs exist for Kroger and Publix, and we'll work on that so that as we head into the next semester, we can get that to you. The last thing that I will speak to, done with funding, but the last thing that I will speak to is about board membership. None of this is possible without our board doing work. Now, our board consists of voting members, 6 people, including myself. And I'm going to ask them if they're here to stand up. So I'm already standing, so that doesn't count. But Sarah, please stand, and Christy, and Raj, and Nita, where are you? Nita's in the back, and Rand. Okay? So big round of applause to them. Thank you all. I also would like some of our volunteers. We've had a couple of parent volunteers who have stepped forward to help us out on a recurring basis. Now, on the communication side, we've got Christina, if you could stand up, and Aaron, are you here helping with our social media? And then the person who your kids are happiest to see, it's turned out to be every week, is Jovi, helping out with our snacks. So Jovi, really and we've got parents who are helping out in other ways as well. Tonight, we've had a couple of volunteers helping with getting our student musicians in all the places that they need to go. We've got two fantastic parents who are helping out with our photography. We've got others who have helped out in kind with services as well. So none of this is possible without board members rolling up sleeves and volunteers helping out. And this is a drum that I beat each time because it's important. We have a working board. It's not an executive board with a staff that does the day-to-day stuff. Everything that we do for TYS is through our board members actively taking a part in it. So I invite you guys, any of you, law of averages, almost all of you can contribute in some way to be part of our board because that is an important aspect. I did some number running, and we have highs and lows in terms of board experience over the past couple of years. At our best, it's been about 1.5 years on the board in terms of average experience. At our lowest, which was last year, it was 3/4 of a year in terms of experience. And that's because I was on the board with 3 years of experience. Next year, I will not be on the board. Thank you. This will be my last year on the board, my last year as board president. So the only way that we can keep this train kind of moving is if other folks hop on to lend efforts. And you don't have to come with a ready-made bag of tricks and understand how to do all these different things. All the folks who stood up were learning on the job. Last year, in many cases, was their first year on the board. Quite a few of them are into their second year right now, but they may not roll into a third year with us because life happens. All right, so if folks move away, they have other commitments and the like. So we need to keep the pipeline of parents stepping forward and volunteering to be part of it. So for this, I want to ask one of our newest board members, Rand. Rand, can you stand up? Rand, how long have you been on the board?
How long have I been? I guess about 6 months.
Okay. What are your typical board duties?
So my duties on the board, meet with the whole board once a month for about 2 hours. And then on a weekly basis, most weeks I end up coming to the rehearsal, either at the beginning or the end, to help set up or take down. And then these events, helping whatever needs to be done in preparation for the event.
All right. Is it a hard lift? Feel free to lie if you have to say yes. To say no. Is it a hard lift?
It's a smallish lift, not the smallest thing I do, but certainly not the biggest. Yeah.
Okay. And have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's great. I enjoy. It's fun being part of the team of the other board members and conductors, and really cool getting to spend some time with the conductors and see how they operate. They're just, they're magic with the kids, and that's really fun to see. And as you've heard and as you'll see, the music's beautiful, and it's really special to be part of that.
Well, thank you, Rand. Rand Carpenter, everybody. By the way, we in no way rehearsed that. But look, I am intentionally belaboring the point, and I do it every time because, believe it or not, it does have results. We need folks to raise their hand and to say, I want to be a member of the board. My daughter started in TYS, I want to say 8 years ago. She was in the program for 7. I joined the board 4 years ago and served as president for 3. And she might be watching, she's at University of Virginia right now, and she might be watching online, so hi, Elena. But it has become part of our family. And we've got a young son who's just starting the trombone right now, so we might be back in a couple of years. But hopefully this has become part of your family as well. And the way to keep it going is for parents to step forward and volunteer. So with that, we've got plenty of opportunities for you to help out. We need your support. The next thing that'll be on our plate in terms of events, we want to have the the second iteration of Spotlight on the Stage for a jazz rock ensemble in March. So look for that to happen in some way. And then we'll be looking forward to our spring concert in May. And so we will need support getting the word out and making things happen. All right, so I have talked enough. And yeah, Mrs. Miller just gave me the nod. I don't think she thought that I saw that, but I did. All right, so without further ado, I present Youth Symphony and Mrs. Anna Maria Miller as conductor.
Would you please rise for the playing of our national anthem? you, and welcome to the Youth Symphony portion of our holiday December concert. I'm so happy to have all of you here, and I'm really happy that I get to turn around and see all of you here, and that the students get to see all of you here. We had that concert at the end of last year, and although it was wonderful and we had board members that could clap and that for us, there's nothing like playing in front of a live audience. So I hope you enjoy our program tonight. We are going to start out with a funeral march for Marionette. Well, what can I say about this next piece, other than you are in for a wild ride? When we first decided that we were going to do Sorcerer's Apprentice, we listened to it, and I wish I had a video. One of these days, we're going to take a video so we can show like their faces as the music flew by, and the comments and whatever. And when we finished, I was like, "Do you think we can play this?" And they were like, "Yeah, no, but yeah, no," and it went back like that probably till about, what'd you say, like maybe 2 weeks ago or so. Yeah, every week it was like, "Oh no, here we go." But anyway, it was a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoy it. Get ready for the ride.